We're kicking off today with the fact that WWE is still intending to move forward with plans for Gunther to face Goldberg in a blockbuster showdown that is set to be the Hall of Famer's final match. The two heavy hitters will face each other in a passing of the torch moment intended to elevate Gunther, with Goldberg taking the loss. However, according to Fightful Select, there's some growing uncertainty about when the match will actually happen due to Goldberg suffering an injury during a recent training session, and while it's still planned, there's been no booking date as of yet. How excited are you for this clash? And do you agree with WWE's rumored finish for Goldberg? Let us know in the comments below. The Ring General is the World Heavyweight Champion once again, and he doesn't care about how people view the match or the fact that people didn't hype it up ahead of time, as he explained on the Raw post-show. I guess going in it was seen as a nothing match, just a Mania rematch, and everyone was speculating that Seth Rollins was going to do something with his briefcase, or that Goldberg was going to show up to finally kick my. In reality, when I was world champion for the first time, all those big names stayed away from me, and for good reason. Ever since I arrived in WWE, I've been the most dominant guy around here. Gunther initially dropped the title to Jey Uso back at WrestleMania 41, but he's confident that one match doesn't define the entire story for him and the title. Yes, I lost to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, and I give him credit for that, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. No one matches me, nobody's got the mental ability, the confidence, or the stamina to last that long. It's only me, I'm competing in my own class. Gunther holding gold again is no big surprise, as he spent the majority of his WWE career doing so, and his confidence in calling out the entire roster only adds to the aura surrounding him, as he proves that anyone who thought his run on top was over after WrestleMania 41 was dead wrong. It's been months since Roman Reigns last stepped into a WWE ring. His last official match came at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, where he suffered a major defeat to Seth Rollins in the Night 1 Triple Threat main event. The following night on Raw, Reigns made a brief appearance only to be brutally assaulted by Rollins and Braun Breaker, a storyline injury that removed him from television. Now, with SummerSlam 2025 fast approaching, anticipation is building around the Tribal Chief's return. Behind the scenes, Triple H and the WWE creative team are currently weighing 3 blockbuster ideas for his comeback. While none of these plans are set in stone, Triple H is expected to make the final call, and as always, there's a chance he could swerve entirely and come up with something new in the weeks ahead. One option being seriously considered is a massive 6-man tag team match that would see Reigns join forces with CM Punk and Sami Zayn to take on Rollins, Breaker, and Bronson Reed. Given the history of all parties and the fact that it was Rollins and Breaker who put Reigns out of action, this would be a natural and emotionally charged showdown. It also continues the ongoing tension between Punk and Rollins and would offer fans a blockbuster, star-studded battle to headline SummerSlam. Another route WWE is exploring involves reigniting the rivalry between Reigns and John Cena for one final encounter. With Cena in the middle of his retirement tour, it would be fitting for the 17-time world champion to get one last shot at redemption against the man who's beaten him twice. If WWE chooses to put a title on the line, the stakes become even higher, and for fans, it would be a true dream match on one of the biggest stages of the year. Of course, there's always the possibility that WWE circles back to the unfinished business between Reigns and Rollins. After their WrestleMania clash, which also involved Cody Rhodes, many feel a one-on-one match between Reigns and the Visionary is overdue. With both men still at the top of their game, this could serve as the definitive chapter in a rivalry that has helped shape the modern era of WWE. As always, Triple H and the creative team are keeping their options open. Any of these matches could headline SummerSlam, or WWE could throw a curveball and debut something entirely unexpected. So now we ask you, which direction should WWE take with Roman Reigns? Do you want the 6-man tag war, one last classic with Cena, or another epic chapter with Rollins? Or maybe you've got a different plan in mind? Sound off in the comments below. The road to SummerSlam 2025 is wide open. WWE fans are buzzing about the upcoming Night of Champions event in Saudi Arabia, as CM Punk is set to reignite his long-term rivalry with John Cena as the two men compete in singles action for the undisputed WWE title. However, while many fans are excited to see them wrestle each other again, plenty have been disappointed in Punk for agreeing to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. One fan called out Punk for being a hypocrite, while another claimed he's nothing but a fraud, as the voice of the voiceless is set to wrestle in a country that makes women exactly that. This fallout comes from Punk having previously made his feelings clear about WWE running events in Saudi Arabia, with The Miz being on the receiving end of a personal attack at that point. Punk had said, "Go a blood money covered in Saudi Arabia, you f***ing dork." Yet now the former AEW star will be flying across the globe to do precisely the same thing. Punk competing in Saudi Arabia might be fresh news to WWE fans, but according to Dave Meltzer during the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, it has been planned for months internally. Meltzer claimed that Punk could not go if he really wanted to, noting that Punk was taken out of the original promo package for the show, but when he asked his sources about the situation months ago, it was made clear to him that Punk was going to be there. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. This week on WWE NXT, a brand new name change was revealed in the world of WWE as Mariah May is no more. Instead, the former AEW star will officially be known as Blake Monroe. During the June 10th episode of NXT, Monroe appeared in a vignette that presented WWE's latest signing in a manner that left nothing to the imagination. She relaxed in the bath, put on lipstick, and showed the glitz and glamour of her life. The vignette cut between close-ups of the lipstick or her putting on clothes, with the narrator constantly repeating the word glamour in a sultry voice, seeming to hint at a nickname for her, as the segment ended by saying, "The glamour is Blake Monroe." Interestingly, this name might have a more personal meaning to Monroe than it first seems, as fans dug deep on X to discover a 2016 post that said, "My little niece Blake." Fans now believe that May's new name is a tribute to her niece, while fans are making the natural assumption that Monroe is a nod to Marilyn Monroe, a Hollywood icon notorious for being glamorous, just as her new gimmick appears to be. This proves that a lot of thought might have gone into this name rather than being plucked from thin air. The personal homage is mixed with classic stardom to create something fans are sure to remember. It was also revealed during the show that she will appear next week, as a graphic stated Blake Monroe signs her NXT contract next Tuesday. That segment will officially mark the start of her on-screen journey in WWE, and after setting her sights on the NXT Women's title last week, the countdown to her showcasing her in-ring skills and taking over the division as a whole is on. Monroe made her presence known to the current champion Jayne last week after making her surprise debut for WWE. Still, as she explained to Busted Open Radio, the former Toxic Attraction star is not showing any signs of worry just yet. So at first I thought it was Tiffany. I was like, oh my god, Tiffany's here. But then I was like, okay, well, she doesn't have a title, can't be Tiffany, but I'm excited. You know, I welcome anybody to our division. Let's see if you can hang with our division. And it's just another shot for me to show everyone I'm better. Ron Killings wasted little time reintroducing himself to the world of WWE this week on Raw, when the star formerly known as R-Truth stunned fans by cutting off his own dreads with a pair of scissors, making a significant statement in the process. It was clear that R-Truth and his comedic ways are being left in the past, with the veteran having told the world, "I'm going by Ron Killings now, no more R-Truth, no more games." Killings took to TikTok Live less than 24 hours later to show fans his fresh trim now that it's been cleaned up professionally, giving fans a closer look at his new style as he said, "I like this. I think this is more Ron Killings fitting right here." Again, he clarified that the time for jokes and laughter was over as he said, "You see what I'm saying? This is more serious. All of the dreads and the dye and all that, man, get out of here." Killings might be the most outstanding comedic wrestler of all time. However, after his drastic rebrand, it's apparent that he's aiming to showcase a different side of himself. Now all that remains to be seen is how far this new version of Killings can go in WWE and how he'll be pushed. It's also worth noting that WWE has dropped new merchandise for R-Truth under the Ron Killings name, with the tagline "Killings Spree," which does seem as though it could be his new gimmick. Killings shocked the WWE Universe at Money in the Bank when he returned after being released from the company, but the fans weren't the only ones surprised by his appearance. That's because Logan Paul himself was blindsided by his return despite being part of the main event itself. Paul explained on Impulsive that he just nailed his springboard moonsault to the outside of the ring, a spot he pitched to John Cena earlier that day that saw him put Jey Uso through the announce table, only to be met with Killings' return. "I'm sitting there just selling but not selling because this real, and it all hurts so bad, and dude, out of nowhere comes R-Truth, who I thought was fired. I thought the WWE let him go. No one told me R-Truth was coming. I didn't even know. So bro, I'm sitting there and he comes back. I'm like, what is he doing here?" WWE completely kept the YouTuber in the dark, showcasing the lengths WWE went in a bid to make this a surprise moment. Paul was forced to watch his partner get laid out by a man he thought was fired. Alberto Del Rio has once again had the wrestling world talking about him after a press event to promote Triple Mania Rasia. The former WWE superstar assaulted El Hijo del Vikingo and former AAA wrestler Latin Lover, with the footage quickly going viral on social media as reporters scrambled to film the attack. Del Rio and Vikingo brawled across the room as security tried to pull them apart, but it was Latin Lover's involvement that got people talking. Del Rio slammed a trash can onto them before repeatedly hitting Latin Lover with a chair. The event was done to build toward the rematch between Del Rio and Vikingo on June 15th, and it's fair to say that there is no love lost between them, even though it's believed that this segment was scripted. Del Rio made headlines last month when he attacked a staff member during an appearance on a Mexican talk show. Still, this new beatdown took things to an even more physical level, making it clear that he's not heading into this match just to wrestle Vikingo, as he wants to destroy him. As WWE builds towards Night of Champions 2025 on June 28th in Saudi Arabia, a major blunder has fans buzzing. This past Saturday, El Grande Americano competed in the high-stakes men's Money in the Bank ladder match but came up short, with Seth Rollins ultimately securing the briefcase after interference from both Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. However, what has truly grabbed attention isn't just the match outcome, it's a possible unmasking. A new image has surfaced online showing a WWE replica mask labeled Chad Gable replica lucha head costume, seemingly confirming the true identity of El Grande Americano. Whether this was an unintentional slip or a calculated move by WWE, one thing is certain: the mystery around El Grande Americano may not be a mystery much longer. The NXT parking lot is not a safe place, which was highlighted again this week at the start of the show when Jasper Troy attacked Femi to soften him up for their title match. The show started with a North American Championship bout as Ethan Page defended his gold for the second time in 4 days, this time against Shawn Legacy. Legacy managed to gain the upper hand with several strikes after the two men traded holds to start, but the challenger missing a 450 splash proved to be a vital mistake as it allowed Page to hit his finisher and retain the gold. However, All Ego didn't have time to celebrate as Ricky Saints returned and attacked him, and the two men brawled all the way to the back. Later in the night, Ava ordered Saints to go home as he wasn't medically cleared, as he suffered a laryngeal contusion after Page previously attacked him with a chair. Lash legend and Wren Sinclair attempted to settle their differences inside of the ring after a backstage argument, and it was Legend who scored the win with her power advantage, proving to be too much. Legend caught Sinclair midair after a dive from the top turnbuckle, but as she attempted to swing her around into her finisher, she lost her balance, and they both fell down without much authority. Femi defended his NXT title in the main event this week, although he did head into things battered and bruised from being attacked earlier in the night, with the LFG winner controlling the start because of that. Femi was in unusual territory as the smaller man, but he still made a comeback and nailed some massive strikes. However, Troy responded by whipping Femi so hard that it broke the middle rope off the ring post, highlighting his power and intensity. He worked Femi's midsection throughout the break, and despite being so new to the business, he made a great impression, proving that he belongs at this level. Yet on the flip side, the champion looked just as good as he fought through the injuries to prove how much the title means to him. Femi planted Jasper Troy with a fall from grace and went for the cover, but the referee only counted a 2. Troy did not kick out and his shoulders were still on the mat. The official botched it and even Femi was confused. The crowd was also confused. Soon after, the champion hit his finisher again, and this time the referee counted to 3, giving Oba the win. WWE's relationship with AAA has been strong so far, with WWE making the most of its acquisition of the Mexican brand after a successful Worlds Collide event that is only set to continue. This week on NXT, fans were treated to an appearance from Psycho Clown and Octagón Jr., with the two talented AAA stars being shown at ringside before a tag match between the Culling and the team of Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura, teasing their interest in the NXT Tag Team division. Elsewhere, former WWE superstar Raj Desi, who is best known to people as Jinder Mahal, is no stranger to leaving wrestling fans stunned, as his WWE Championship win proves. However, he had fans scratching their heads after a strange situation at Battleground Championship Wrestling back in May. Desi had walked out mid-match and never returned, as he simply exited his match against Mazda, which left the live crowd confused to say the least. The promoter addressed the situation by revealing there had been issues behind the scenes, including with hotel arrangements. They also shared some messages from Desi's agent, who had expressed some concerns pre-match about the conditions. Mazda has now added more fuel to the flame by claiming that Desi provided him with a list of restrictions about what couldn't be done in his match, which continued to impact the former WWE superstar's reputation. Desi has now had his say via Fightful Select, claiming that the situation was a work put together by the booker with the intention of building controversy and interest rather than real heat. However, Desi isn't booked for any future dates with the promotion, which is leading fans to wonder whether things went to plan or if there have been some legitimate issues that have arisen because of this. Fans have been left with more questions than answers. Do you think Raj Desi's walkout was planned all along, or did something fall apart behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know. One of the big talking points from Raw this week was the return of Nikki Bella, who reminded everyone just how talented she is on the microphone, only to be left lying by Liv Morgan. This segment wasn't just a one-off moment though, as Ringside News has revealed the two women are starting a program that will likely lead to a match at WWE Evolution next month. The current plan isn't fully locked in at this stage, but one option would see Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defend their women's tag team titles against Nikki and a returning Brie Bella, bringing the Hall of Fame twins back together. What do you think about Nikki Bella and Liv Morgan starting a program? Should it stay one-on-one, or do you want to see Brie Bella return and make it a tag team clash? Let us know in the comments. After her shocking attack on Brooks Jensen last week, Izzy Dame revealed that she hit him with a chair because he wasn't fully committed to the group, and there's no room for that. She highlighted how he'd dress differently and look away when the family was discussed, so she took matters into her own hands. The culling then took on Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura, with the latter and Shawn Spears unloading on each other with chops throughout the match. However, Nico Vance took control of the situation with various moves against Briggs, hitting his finisher for a smooth and fast victory in a much shorter match than expected. Interestingly, Briggs did have a moment with Dame mid-match that seemed to hint that he wasn't happy with how Jensen had been treated. Elsewhere, Jayne agreed to defend her title against Lainey Reid in a backstage segment, and they showed why the NXT women's division is one of the brightest aspects of the brand in their title bout. Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix were on hand to support, and what followed was a competitive back-and-forth match that helped establish Reid as a real player in NXT. The chemistry might have been lacking in some spots, but it was physical, and the competitive nature allowed Reid to look good, even though she suffered a defeat after a discus clothesline. Jayne will now prepare for her next title defense, which Ava revealed will be at WWE Evolution. She admitted that 8 women will compete in 4 singles matches, with the winners progressing into a fatal 4-way on June 24th's episode of NXT. Whoever wins will get a shot on the main roster PLE, although no participants have been confirmed at this stage. NXT is set to gain some new competition on Tuesday nights, as it's been confirmed that the National Wrestling Alliance has a new streaming deal on the Roku channel. Starting July 29th, the NWA will stream for free every Tuesday at 8 p.m. across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The family was also in action this week as Tony D'Angelo and Luca Crusifino competed against Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe. Crusifino started things off, but he wasn't allowed to tag himself out. When he attempted to, Tony made it clear that he should keep fighting. When D'Angelo did tag in, he struggled, so he opted to tag straight back out. Crusifino then attempted a double team, which annoyed the Don, adding to the ongoing tension. Stax then showed up and tried to get involved, but D'Angelo sent him out of the ring, and while it seemed like Crusifino was going to attack the Don for a moment, he claimed it was just a misunderstanding at the moment. However, that opened up the chance for High Rise to win as they took D'Angelo out. The match itself could have been better, but it did have some memorable moments of storyline development. The No Quarter Catch crew and Miles Bourne had a nice moment as they parted ways as friends, with Charlie Dempsey shaking his hand. Bourne claimed the group made him the man he is today, which led to Tavion Heights asking for his own shot against Charlie Dempsey in the future. How did you find this week's episode of NXT? Sound off in the comments below.